Hey everyone, Chairmix here. This video is going to be a bit different than my usual ones. I used to live in the dorms back in college, and our rooms came with these awfully uncomfortable wooden chairs. Needless to say, it felt like sitting on a rock. There was no cushion, so it made sitting down hurt after long periods of time. And I'm sure it wasn't paying any favors to my posture either. I was desperate for a new chair, so one day when I was walking to class, I found an abandoned office chair on the side of the road. It was in decent condition, although a bit grimy, but I ended up wheeling it all the way back to my dorm. And until now, I was using that chair for the longest time. It's gotten me through countless amounts of sleepless nights at my computer desk. And while I appreciate everything it's done for me, one, as I mentioned, it was a bit grimy, and looking back on it, it was kind of gross that I had that piece of furniture sitting in my room this entire time. And two, it was kind of old-fashioned looking. It really didn't mesh with the rest of my gamer setup. So because of those two things, I've kind of been in and out of the gaming chair market for a long time. Mainly, I was looking for something comfy, sleek looking, and maybe most importantly, affordable. The thing is, there are so many chairs and brands to choose from, and prices range all over the place. But by pure coincidence, a company called Ewin Racing reached out to me about sending me one of their chairs. Now, I had heard of Ewin before. They were one of the brands that I would see when browsing for chairs. And they were already one of the brands I was highly considering anyway, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity. So they let me pick from a large selection of colors, and they sent me my chair. Now, before I start talking about this chair, I want to say that this video is technically sponsored by Ewin Racing. They did send me a chair and asked me to talk about it on my channel in return, but that's all they requested. They never told me to specifically only talk about the positives. They never gave me a checklist of points to hit. All they asked was for me to give my honest opinions on the chair because they're so confident in their brand. And I gotta say, their chairs really do speak for themselves. From the 3 weeks that I've been using this chair so far, I mostly only have positive things to say. So let's go over those positive aspects. First, and probably most obvious, the chair looks really cool, especially to me. Coming from an office chair I found on the side of the road, upgrading to this was kind of a big deal. Now, like I mentioned, these chairs come in a whole bunch of different colors. I specifically chose black because that's just kind of the aesthetic of the rest of my setup. But for those who want more eye-catching bright colors, those are definitely available to choose from. Alright, next, this chair is pretty dang comfy. It has 2 pillows, one for the neck and one for the back, and I can already feel my posture being helped. And on top of this, the seat cushion is thick and foamy. It's never uncomfortable on my tushy to sit down for long periods of time. As for the armrests, they're very stable and able to be adjusted up and down very easily. This was a very important point for me because I get a lot of shoulder and neck pain. So having these prop my arms up at the right level relieves that a lot. Ewin has a few different models to choose from ranging in price. So if you have a specific budget for a new chair, you have a few options to choose from. One thing that they note on their website, which I thought was really interesting, is that one size does not fit all. When I was ordering my chair, they specifically asked me about my weight and height because those things actually really matter when choosing a chair. I'm a pretty light guy, so they recommended me a chair from their Calling series. But depending on your weight and height, you might require a different chair series, and that's where Ewin has you covered. Heavy-duty gaming chairs are available, and they can support up to 550 pounds. And they have the specifications for all of their chairs neatly laid out on their website, so you can find which chair suits you best. Alright, finally, let's talk about pricing. If you're like me, you want to make sure you're always getting bang for your buck. The thing about gaming chairs is that there's definitely a law of diminishing returns with some of the more expensive ones. But are the added positives really worth the extra money that you're spending? A lot of the time, that's pretty questionable. The great thing about Ewin Racing is that their chairs can be very affordable. The pricing is different per series, so you definitely have options depending on your budget. I'd say among their competitors, Ewin is right smack in the middle in terms of pricing. They aren't ridiculously expensive, but they're far from being the skimpy cheap chairs you'd find on Amazon. Alright, time for my one and only complaint. It's that the lever to tilt the back of the chair feels a bit cheap. It bends pretty easily, and when lifting it and putting it back in place, it feels like it gets stuck on top of the gear sometimes. You have to kind of wiggle it in place. But to be fair, it does the job, and I'm not really adjusting the back of my chair a whole lot anyways. It isn't something I have to worry about too much. So this has been my review on the Ewin Racing gaming chairs. What happened to my old chair, you may ask? Well, it found a new owner. I'd sincerely recommend these chairs to anyone looking for a great middle-of-the-road option. I'll have an affiliate link to their products in my description. And if you end up getting one of their chairs, I get a bit of commission, which really helps me out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Peace.